I appreciate y'all joining me, but with our calendars, it still seemed to be the best time for everyone to join us. So, hi again. My name is Sarah Walker Height. I'm your Region 3 VP and your host for our meeting today. So our Region 3 Leadership Connect series, again, is designed to help connect us to each other, get to know your people and who you're going to call as life moves forward for us. And we have, excuse me, questions. So I've had a few asks in this agenda, and the first one was to share your state lobbyist name and contact information. That is something I have asked of our state presidents. I have good news. Over here in Illinois, I was looking for a solution for our lobbyist. There's a lot of action in Illinois, always, right? For state legislation. And I really wanted him to be connected into all things NABIP since he's representing us. He actually officially works for the Big IIA, but we all have a coalition here in Illinois. So we've got NAFA, the Big IIA, and NABIP Illinois. So it makes logical sense to have our lobbyists plugged in to all things NABIP so they can access our information. Again, helps round things out so we're speaking with one voice. And so one ask that I sent out to our state presidents was, again, to share the name of your lobbyist and their contact information. The idea is I will connect them with membership at NABIP. We do have the ability to give the lobbyist access through a membership, and it doesn't cost anything. We're already paying our lobbyists, so it's not necessarily a full membership like we're all paying for, but it gives them access to the ledge reports. We can get them added to key email strings and things like that that are coming out from NABIP ledge teams. So be sure you send those over to me if you're a state president. And I did send out, as part of the agenda, I sent multiple pages out, my attempt at recapping the wonderful information that Susan Ryder and Amanda Bruton shared with us when we kicked off this series last month on August the 7th. So if you look through here, you've got your sheet of information. Get through. You can kind of see if you scan this QR code, connect with us, it actually takes you to our Region 3 landing page on the Illinois site. But this graphic was shared on our social media platforms, just so, again, folks can know who their contacts are, who to reach out to with questions. And I'm going to keep sharing this. If I need to update your picture or something, just let me know, send it over to me, and I'll do that for the next round. But again, attached there's a recap. It's got all of our notes. I do have the recording, and the recording will be out on our YouTube drive for NABIP Illinois. So if you like to rewatch YouTube or you want to replay a segment from Susan or Amanda's presentations, you can go out to our NABIP Illinois YouTube channel. I have a playlist that is labeled Region 3. And so what I'll be doing is taking these sessions like today and putting those out there. So folks that, missed it, or maybe they had to come on late because of an appointment, have an opportunity to tune in and check things out. So next up here on our agenda, identify your strategic plan. So I said this and mentioned it last month, and I'm going to say it again this month. We're all running nonprofits here, folks. We've got separate tax ID numbers. The state tax ID number is different from our local tax ID numbers, and with that comes, some accountability and responsibility. Part of that is having an agenda and taking board meeting minutes. So make sure you're tracking that. And I always encourage everyone at the start of the term to have a strategic plan put together. Now, a strategic plan might look different in Illinois than it does in Ohio. Dee and I have talked a few times, we're in different spots in different places in our timelines. So please don't think that it always has to look exactly like what someone else is doing in another state. That's not the point of our strategic plans. Our strategic plans are there to help us um, choose and identify what we're going to focus on and what items need to be accomplished. They should be specific and measurable. And again, those are going to help hold you and your board accountable. Like Amanda says all the time, if you're overwhelmed and have too many things going on, then pick three things. That's what Amanda's telling us, which is great. That works well for me. So if you need somewhere to start, if you're struggling with your strategic plan, please reach out to me. You can always schedule a one-on-one appointment with me and we can sit down and go over that, or I'm happy to meet virtually with your board and we can put that together for you. But really, it's just an outline, like I said, with specific measurable goals, and it helps to keep you and your team accountable. It's great to do that now because we all know in fourth quarter things get pretty wild for most of us. So I want to make sure you're all at the starting line with me and are taking off, launching for success here. So agenda item number 2, pulse check. So we want to hear from our state presidents. I'm going to go through our state presidents. Hopefully everyone's getting logged in. Again, I know we've got some folks that are joining a little late. I'll kick off here in Illinois to make sure everybody has a chance to grab their coffee and get ready with their state report. And I'm just asking you again to share your top 3. So in Illinois, we saw some great success having our Illinois State Symposium on August 7th. And it was a great opportunity to meet and greet not just old faces, but meet and greet some new faces up in Plainfield, Illinois. We were on Route 66 at a very cool location. Robert Slayton, our professional development chair, connected us with, and wonderful updates. Really just trying to again keep up with all the legislative rollout, right? We've got a lot going on at the federal and the state level. And so we had industry experts there sharing those with us. The second thing I'm happy to report is Lou Reginelli, our past president, is working on some key policies, procedures, and guides for not just state of Illinois, but our local chapters. So we'll be sharing those here at Region 3, probably January. It's in relation to the nominating and elections committee and bylaws. So thank you, Lou. He's working on projects for us here, and we'll be sharing those come January. So that's all I have for Illinois. Do we have Indiana on the line with us? Justin, are you here? Or representative from Indiana? Cincinnati could use one Amanda. Thank you. Yeah, Scott, Amanda is on and you can always reach out to her and schedule an appointment, talk to her as well, get folks riled up. I know she books out in advance, but she's wonderful to come and meet with folks and does a lot of virtual trainings as well. So I do encourage you to reach out to her. All right. Kentucky. Do we have Kentucky on with us today? You're on mute. Marcy?
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Marcy. We're doing well.
I'm sorry I joined late, but Jerry Dethridge and I realized that we're switched on here. Jerry is actually the Kentucky State president.
Oh,
I'm
no.
actually the Central Kentucky president.
Well, we're glad to have you, Marcy. And what's
Thank you.
Jerry's last name?
Jerry Dethridge.
All right. Well, tell us what's going on at your chapter, Marcy.
So we're getting a little bit of a slow start, but we have a meeting coming up in a couple of weeks. Actually, it's the 17th, and we're excited about that. So fingers crossed all goes well with that. We're struggling a little bit with location and that sort of thing. But other than that, I don't really have anything to report.
All right. Well, we'll take no news as good news, but we're glad to hear you've got your next meeting all set up. Is
Thank
Jerry
you.
on with us today?
He is not. He is not getting these invitations. I had a conversation with him earlier,
Mhm.
and that's why I'm kind of reaching out because I don't think I'm supposed to be on here. I think it's supposed to be Jerry as the state president. Is that right?
You absolutely can be on here. So, this meeting for us, the meeting of the minds, is for all leaders, local, state, throughout Region 3.
Okay.
So, you're more than welcome to be here. We do have a sign up, on our Illinois page. So, since we don't have a, oh, that's the wrong one. Hold on. That's the wrong message. Sorry, guys. Yeah, we got a region 3 here. Nope. Wait, my control paste was not working right. There, now I've corrected it in the comments. There's a link on our NABIP Illinois page for Region 3. So this is our landing page. It's on our Illinois website because simply that's what I had access to. So we created this hub with some quick links over here, and really, again, feel free to share this information with all of your chapter leaders throughout Region 3. And I would say anyone that's interested at any level and moving up in leadership, you know, in any committee, they're welcome to join us. I mean, we're all in this together. We're all volunteers, and we want to foster that community. And again, sharing the who you gonna call information with folks. So in my mind, the more the merrier. There's no state secrets here. So we're glad to have you. And Marcy, if you would forward the link to him, that would be wonderful. And then hopefully we'll have Jerry next time.
I will do that. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Marcy, and we'll get his picture updated there.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, D. I see D on there. Good morning, D.
Good morning. So we are like the little chapter that could here. That's what I always say about Ohio. We've had a stressful year and a half or so, but we had our strategic planning meeting in person on August 18th, which was nice because our state is very spread out. So it was nice to see some of the people in person that I only ever see at CapCon or convention or, never. So we laid out our strategic plan. We did a vote and we agreed to a software program. So I'm in the process of onboarding our software program so that we can then get all of our websites up and running. And yeah, and then our locals are all busy getting going. Some of them are brand new and fresh. And so I'm hoping once we get through the craziness here of AEP, I'll be able to do some road trips and go out and visit some of my locals. But I know like our local Western Reserve is working on a TV campaign that we're going to be recording next week with a local news station. Why NABIP, who is NABIP, and so we're hoping that that's something then that we can kind of share with everybody to do with their local stations as well.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got your email on that. It's wonderful you guys are putting that together. And for those other chapters who are like, whoa, I'm not quite ready for that. NABIP does have some videos ready to roll that you can borrow and share. But I love that you're putting this together so folks can see the local faces and local agents that they can and brokers they can come and work with. So excited to see what you guys put together, and you'll have to share the end product with us at the next
I
meeting.
will. a lot of work to do in a very small amount of time. So
Yeah, it's a race. It's a race where everything starts. And I'll tell y'all, over here in downstate Illinois, we have a regional carrier exiting the market. So if you do business in Illinois, be ready. Because downstate we're losing Health Alliance medical plans. They're closing their doors completely. 85,000 individuals. They had over 240,000 members total, but 85,000 of those were individuals. And I can tell you, because I retired early from there before I opened my business, a lot of that business was direct. So, because they had the local, you could walk in, sign up, and have customer service. And a lot of folks, that lived right there, they didn't even necessarily realize what a broker was. So there's a lot of opportunity down here. And in fact, I ran into my office and put everything down a minute before 8 because I had someone follow me to the office. They saw the sign of my business on the back window of my car, followed me to my office, and was talking to me in the parking lot because him and his wife are stressed out about the change. So getting out there in the media and connecting with folks who need you is vital right now because people need more help, not less help, right? Um, so thanks, Dee. Anything we can do to help and support you, please let us know. All right. Michigan. We have our Michigan team on with us.
Sarah, I don't see Chrissy. So as vice president, I can share a little bit about what's going on. So a couple of things. We're doing something new. We're going to try doing an awards gala in January. Ew, go blue, Robert Slayton. I'm a Spartan, so take back those dirty words. Go green. The Ohio folks will be on board with that because we can just hate on Michigan together. But we're going to try an awards gala, though our local West Michigan chapter had tried that in the past pre-COVID and had raised a bunch of money and, had a lot of energy around that. They haven't wanted to put that back on their calendar. So we're going to try it at the state level. We're going to, kind of create our own awards, engagement award, lifetime achievement award, carrier rep award, so that it really has some folks like getting excited about NABIP in a way that maybe we haven't seen. We're going to have 2 really great speakers from the University of Michigan. Boo. But they're really great speakers. I think both of them are going to talk about healthcare and AI, I believe. Another thing we're trying is we're going to try purchasing a list from the Michigan Department of Insurance and Financial Services each month of agents who newly have a license. And we're going to ask the locals who have a certain amount of membership or above to partner with us on the cost of that. And then we're going to create a marketing campaign to focus messaging on those folks. If you're new to a license, you probably want the support of something like NABIP. And then one of the things that we heard at our last chapter meeting was that the locals are hearing that members, when their membership is lapsing, the feedback is, I just don't know what I get from this. I'm not clear as to what my money is going to, and too many emails. So I'm going to share that feedback at the marketing and the media and communications committee meeting that I go to. But I thought one of the things that we are going to try locally and then maybe share, nationally if it makes sense. This is very rough, but I'm going to share my screen. Is a post that is basically, like when your kids bring artwork home and you have the little thing that's like, look what Avery did, and you put their I don't know, their panda bear from school on your fridge. It's the idea is look what NABIP did, and then a tagline like advancing policy for agents and your clients, and then have a very brief blurb of a legislative achievement that NABIP is bragging about in the email that a lot of people just delete. And then post that at the state and local level hoping that we get more eyes on it that way than folks who are feel inundated by emails, and see what that can do. So again, that's a rough look at it, but I like the idea of just quick hitters of the value of NABIP versus having to scroll through an email that a lot of people probably auto delete or auto file for a later time and then never get back to them. So those are things that we're trying in Michigan. And I'm going to bring some of that feedback to the national call because I do think some of it is valuable and not unique to Michigan.
I think that's a wonderful idea. And Kristen is strategically placed on the national board and the state board and has been participating for a number of years on Region 3's board. So thank you, Kristen, for putting that together. We're excited to see how that will work out. I get that feedback as well. But then the next sentence seems to be, well, I didn't know you were doing that, right? So I can totally appreciate giving people the bite-sized version and then sort of if you want to know more, here's the article kind of a thing.
Yep.
What platforms are you guys putting those on for Michigan?
So our LinkedIn is pretty developed, but I'll say, so I just got a new job. So social media for Michigan has taken a break, I'd say, over the past 6 weeks. But in general, our LinkedIn is pretty evolved, but we probably need to get Facebook back going. That fell by the wayside, I would say 2 presidents ago. So really just LinkedIn right now. We do not have an Instagram presence.
And I tend to send folks to LinkedIn myself when people ask me. I know NABIP National has a presence across multiple platforms, but I tend to, for business purposes, seek out LinkedIn as a platform versus a Facebook. The Facebook, yes, I have my NABIP friends on Facebook with me, but that's not necessarily where I'm going for information. But we do have our celebrating successes and we do have information sort of directing people back to LinkedIn, which Facebook doesn't like, but we still do it.
Right.
And I have helpers because you can't all do it all alone, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But yes, if you have any social media posts or templates, we'd love to see those shared with the group. If you could drop them in the Google Drive, just once you guys, sort of flush things out, that'd be great.
I'll do that.
Folks can tag them up,
Yep.
tag into those. And for those of you that don't know, yes, we have a Region 3 Google Drive. So get a cross social media posting service. Yes,
That exists. It just costs money.
it does. Yes. I years ago when my kids were growing up, so I had about 100 people in my downline for a direct sales business. And I did use one of those cross-selling social media posting services because I had a whole team that was wanting to tag in, right? And be able to use a lot of the information I was sharing. And it was great, but just all of it takes so much planning. And so I always encourage people, if you have members at your chapter that are like, hey, I'm like on 3 other boards, I really don't have the bandwidth to do my, a full position with NABIP or sit as a chair or committee member, but I'd like to help, with special projects or here and there. I usually will say, hey, I noticed that you are on social media, right? We all know those folks are on social media because we see their posts, and say, would you be comfortable with liking, sharing, and commenting on our posts twice a week or something to that effect? And I they never tell me no. They don't always follow through with it consistently, but that's life, right? So I would encourage you guys to think through that too. Find your support team for things like social media, and maybe the ask is for like a special event or something specifically. Maybe they love golf and they always come to your golf outings, and that's just their love language is connecting with things like experiences like golfing. Ask them to help out with that way they're not having like an official position where they have to come to every meeting, right? So anyway, great update. Thank you, Michigan. Ohio, we just had, and West Virginia. Unfortunately, we don't have anyone in West Virginia right now. So I am trying to locate our last leaders in West Virginia. If you know who they are, please share them with me. I'd love to connect with them and help them get up off the ground and kick things off again over there. So seeing D says any social media experts who have advice on how to regain ownership on Facebook and LinkedIn pages, which were controlled by the prior administrator. So I would say that is definitely a challenge. If you can prove that you are the owner of those pages, all you can do, I think, is follow the help, like you click on help and you go through. I'll have to look into that a little bit more. I'm going to write it down. But I remember somebody else had that issue. I'll have to ask my 30-year-old daughter because she's got more experience with that. She's helped people before that, were sort of like hacked and took over their accounts. And there is a way, I just don't know off the top of my head what that would be.
I have had to do it when someone died, and you need a lot of documentation. So I think prepare by grabbing documentation of that person's exit from the organization, or whatever you can do before trying to start that process. Have that on hand.
Yeah, and have the roster that shows, you're the president or in the leadership on the board that's filed with National, and we can certainly help with that too. Anything you guys need there. Um, so we will look into that and circle back to you, Dee. Any other updates from our state presidents? All right, Robert's got some fun tips for us. Robert Slayton is our Region 3 Professional Development Chair. Robert, come on down. You got some tips for us. We want to hear from you.
There, I've just bought some new lighting for this office. Let me get it so you can see me. There we go. Okay, there we go. Oh, let's move the banner. There we go. Anyway, so I use so let me share my screen? I can show you Patty post.
Okay.
Okay. So this is what I use. There's some limitations to it, but it's so cheap. You kind of get what you get, right? You have 500 megabytes is the maximum that you can do for media libraries. So, I continuously delete and add, but it's okay. So what happens is you have your social accounts. I have 6 social accounts, 7 TikToks behind there. And so I post here, I schedule it, and it just goes out. And that's really it. So when you see my daily quote of the day on LinkedIn, it comes from here. And so it's just a simple way of doing it. So you create a post and you get to choose the social media accounts, because X is a pain in the ass, frankly, because it only has 280 characters. So it's like, screw that. So sometimes if I feel like it, I do a separate post, but you just kind of click the ones you want, right? And then like for TikTok, you have to kind of do some extra stuff. It's a mild pain. You put in what you want. And one of the cool things is on the hashtags, you can create hashtag groups. So if I do quote of the day, I just kind of do that. And if I need to add stuff, I can. The unique piece about it is it's lifetime, right? So $47 for the basic. I paid an extra $60 or something. And I was recently looking because I'm frustrated with just having 500 megabytes. Um, but the problem is everything else is like anywhere from $20 to $100 a month to get enough social media accounts. And so is it great? No. Does it work? Yes. And so, it gives a dashboard. I don't really hold up much hope about dashboards about this stuff, right? Because I really don't think it does a good job, and it doesn't do anything for that, but Instagram, that kind of stuff. And so it's just something you can do. If you want to do a quick post, you can just do it. Draft. I think I can delete that one. Let's delete that one. Delete. So, this is scheduled for September 8th. I write it up, I put it in, and these are all the different posts that are going to go out and what they look like. And that's really it. It's very simple. It's very easy. It's not difficult. I have not figured out what the hell a webhook is. So, but like I said, it's something. With regards to what was the other thing I talked about? I forget. Let's see. Um, Here, let's stop sharing. And then, when it comes to social media accounts and stuff like that, in my company, I use Keeper Security. And so we have shared password folders, right? And so if somebody leaves, and everybody's required to use it. So if somebody leaves, I can revoke their access to it, but I still have access to all the passwords they generated, so I can still get in. Um, when you create an account, a lot of times it does ask you whether you want your digital rights transferred to somebody else if you die. I don't know if that's necessarily appropriate. Obviously, people aren't dying, they're just leaving. But I think
Hopefully, that's better than dying.
well, yeah, it is. But you could use LastPass. You could, I use Keeper Security, whatever. But if you keep all your passwords in there where you have one person who controls it, right? The administrator, and you require people to use it, you don't lose the passwords necessarily. As long as somebody doesn't go rogue on you and do something stupid, you have all of it. So it's just a thought. That's what I use in my business, so that if I need to get into somebody's account if they leave, I can do it. So that's it. Those are just my two thoughts.
That's a great idea. For the social media accounts I set up for NABIP, Illinois, and the local chapters in Region 3, what I did is I went in, sent the invites. Of course, you have to invite the person you're going to make an administrator or a manager, but there's different levels you can give folks. And so,
Yes.
like Kristen and I have been doing marketing communication for years for Region 3. So she and I both have administrative full access for several of our accounts. But you can give people, there's like an in-between access as well. So absolutely, I think that having the ability for more than one person to be able to make changes and updates to the account is key for sure.
Well, I'm still on the social media accounts. I
I-
see all the changes I can post, even though I'm no longer that. So it's like,
yeah.
oh yeah, that's fine. Whatever works.
Yeah,
Yeah, I added
we did
several
not
people.
we did not know that she was the only administrator, and when she basically left, obviously she was going out of business because she was stealing money from everybody. She did make one of our individuals who was on our board a user, but they don't have admin access. So they can't add anybody else, they can't take her off, and nobody else can go out and post,
Right.
so that, yeah, I mean, we've learned the lesson. I knew that lesson with other boards I was on, but I wasn't involved when that was all set up, so I didn't know, like, if
Right.
there's a way. What I did with other associations I was in is we just created new sites, and I hate to do that because we lose all of our history. But
I agree.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, to Kristen's point earlier, I think just going through that process, and again, we'll look into that a little bit further, but yeah, showing all the documentation that You are an elected board. You guys have ownership of this and every right to that information, but
Yeah.
sounds like a journey, not just a few clicks,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Yes.
You guys are doing great because I saw on your page an update. Um, so it looked like,
Use probably Western Reserve. So the Western Reserve site I have access to and control of, but the state site, the Ohio sites, the LinkedIn and the Facebook are the two that were hijacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
well, I'm so sorry you're having to go through that. You're gonna be like the resource moving forward when you get through this to be like, here's how we did it, you know?
Hey, Dee, are they Facebook groups or do you have a business page, LinkedIn group or a business page?
I believe they're business pages.
Okay.
I'd have to go back and double check, but I'm pretty
Okay.
sure
Just
they're business
curious.
pages. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Um, Robert, any professional development updates for us from NABIP you'd like to share?
I sent the professional development chairs an email last night about the current programs that are going on and some future programs. I'm going to reach out to each person that's on the list individually and just see what they need. You
Yeah.
know, meetings are fine, but I like the one-on-one. I think it works just as well and can connect in a deeper way. But whatever people need. I mean, there are two things I look at personally is one is alerting people about the educational opportunities so that they can share it amongst members. And then the second piece is if they need help finding a speaker, developing a topic or something like that, I'm pretty good at that. So that's
You're
the
amazing at that. You're amazing at that.
yeah. So that's really what I've done up to date. I've sent out an intro email, I've sent updates, and so that's what I'm doing.
Something I'd like to see, Robert, is NABIP has done a little bit of this with their sponsors, but I think it would be cool to show our chapters. Um, we've got these, options with articles, download your free guide for XYZ, right? And that could be a way for growing membership and introductions to NABIP. So if D in Ohio or us in Illinois wanted to share your free guide to XYZ, how would you go about that? What would be some good topics to catch folks' eyes, right? Other brokers and agents and folks in our industry to download that and put their contact info in. So I was just kind of curious about that because I see a lot of information pop up and I'm like, I want to know about that. Oh, I want to know about that. So I'm one of those. I sign up for like everything.
It's
I'm curious.
yeah. I mean there. I have 10 different things fighting for top of my mind to talk about, right? Um, Yeah, I mean, there are lots of different ways of doing that. One is how to survive fourth quarter as a Medicare agent, how to survive fourth quarter as an individual health insurance agent, how to survive fourth quarter as a small group or a group agent. Just as some examples. I believe you kind of have to segment the audiences
Yeah.
because otherwise they won't hit it. When it comes to regulatory updates, theoretically, everybody's getting emails from everybody else and their mother about what's happening here and what's happening there. The only difference would be to make sense of the regulations. Um, and the third piece would be, how to use AI to reduce your workload in the fourth quarter. Don't ask me how to do that. I'm just making this shit up. Um, I can say shit, can I? Everybody's an adult here.
Yes.
Anyway, um, so those are just top of the mind thoughts as lead hooks or lead magnets. Uh, when it comes to development, I would honestly, I'd probably start with either ChatGPT or Claude and put it in and see what they say, review it, and then rewrite based upon reality versus what they hallucinate what reality is. But it's a good starting point. Um,
I
if
like the survival guide and the segmented audiences. Is that something you and your PD team for Region 3 could put together, just like 3 drafts? And, so we can send that over to Kristen Ray for marketing communications, to get the NABIP stamp of approval. But I think that would be a great introduction, and it's something that every chapter could pull and utilize for folks as a hook. Somewhere just
I will see what I can do because we're basically in the fourth quarter right now. You realize
yeah,
that, right?
yeah. I'm aware.
I mean, we're halfway done with November renewals for our groups. That's where we are. So I mean,
I was being followed into the parking lot, so by a client, so I need help.
well, oh no, well, you mean like Friday afternoon? I get an email from a person saying, "Hey, here's this application you requested. Can we get it done for September 1st?" It's like, wait, it's 2:30 Friday afternoon, and you forgot to sign one of the pages. Thank you. Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
welcome, Robert. I always come up with these fun projects. Robert's the best.
No,
He's
you're
a
always good about it. I appreciate you. So
Thank you.
I'll noodle on and see what I can come up with. Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right. Do we have Jeff Rombach with us, our ledge chair? Susie Alberts is still on vacation. Val, are you with us today? Nope. Okay. We'll keep going. Amanda. Amanda Bruton. We had her earlier, but we might have lost her to another meeting. All right.
Sarah, I was at that meeting, the last MNC meeting with Amanda.
Yeah.
It was, I think, because it was the first one, it was very much like getting the lay of the land, figuring out what the goals are going to be of this committee. So I don't have a lot of specifics to bring back. One of the things that I'll just say I brought as an idea, I think the brokers making a difference is a huge, like it's exactly what we need right now, right? But I asked the question, could we make a resource where folks who are helped by brokers can tell their world, not our world, that they've been helped by brokers? Like right now we have the survey, and the survey is, look how great my broker is. But the recipient of the survey is brokers, right? Is our association, our legislative folks. So I am going to be championing some sort of tech opportunity when Robert sits at the table, or Sarah, when you're at the dining room table of this woman who stalked you in the parking lot and she loves her experience, that you can have her scan a QR code, and what's going to come up is some post that she can, with one click, post to her social media that says, I just worked with a NABIP agent and here's why. I don't know personally how to make that happen. Like I'm pretty good with tech, but like I don't know how to make something linked to someone else's Facebook page with one click. So I'm going to be championing that. It's a quasi good idea when you say it, and Amanda goes like this. Huh. So I felt like that was like a little bit of a, you're onto something. Let's get back to that. So I like the idea of the outside world knowing why they should work with agents more.
Great idea.
Right?
It is.
So
And I was talked to Dalton at Retire Flow because he
Yeah.
added splash pages for free for a lot of us. So like there is a way, and I have a QR code that's super easy for people to go provide feedback for me. So yeah, I would talk to him or check out his platform, or you can
Yeah,
even, if
use
you want to look
Retire
at what
Flow.
mine looks like, silverwolfinsurance.com,
Yeah.
and you can click. Because to your point, yeah, a lot of people don't know, and especially those of us that work with a certain population, to do a Google review for somebody's business can be complicated for some
But
folks.
even so, who sees that review unless you seek it out? If
Right.
every time someone used an agent, they were offered the opportunity to rah-rah the agent on their personal Facebook page so that
Right.
their community saw why they worked with an agent, imagine the business and imagine the credibility we would receive. So that's kind of what I'm working on right now.
Very exciting. Yes. Well, if there's anything we can do to help, please let us know.
Oh, don't you worry, I will. I do have to log off for the next thing, but I'm
Okay.
here and I'm willing to help with anything you need.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you so much. And like I say, Susie is on vacay. So, Michelle, sure. Michelle, are you on with us? She's also marketing communications.
Yes, I am. Sorry. And it's Shire. Shire. Nobody gets it
Oh,
right.
thank
Sarah,
you.
nobody gets it right.
I know, I'm always Sarah Walker hit.
Oh my gosh. I'll put on my video too. Here we go.
Welcome, welcome.
Oh, good morning. Good morning. I was not
So,
prepared to talk, but I have not really seen anything with the marketing communications, but I know that we're continuing to share information and get on there. So I'm anxious to get more involved in that. I know in Ohio we do a lot. I know Dee does, she's just starting her tenure, but she's, we already believe in her and God knows she's going to do an amazing job. I know we do a lot of things locally, but whenever you guys are asking us to share stuff, and, we were kind of, Dee was kind of touching on the same part about LinkedIn. We kind of went through not the same thing, but kind of different. When I came on board and I was looking at our LinkedIn, one of the things I noticed it's this closed group. So the only way you could get information is if you joined it. And I don't think it was something that we realized, and maybe who originally set it up thought that's not a bad thing. So yeah, do you notice that we actually, so I kind of made the pitch. It wasn't overly popular, but it had to be done. We had to start over with a brand new LinkedIn page. So it's kind of tough. So we're doing double duty. So we're making sure we're sharing everything that you guys are asking to on the national level too in two spaces. So on the public LinkedIn page and on the private LinkedIn page until we get everything transferred over. And then me trying to sell it, get everybody on there too as well. So
and
but
it
yeah,
sounds
and I agree with the brokers make a big difference. I notice when I look at the numbers, those get a lot of hits, and I agree. I think anytime you get a testimony, again, I'm like you, Sarah. I have that marketing and communications background. Testimonials are huge. Also, when you're come from when you're in a not necessarily the big C's, the Columbus, Cincinnati, and Cleveland, but you're in the outskirts, like we are, and rural. Those are why people choose brokers. Those are the stories that they're telling. Jim saved me money, but Jim and I had a meeting, and I told him I did this and this and this. And who is he telling? He's telling his fellow Rotarian. He's telling the guy that he's seating down at the chamber meetings. Those things are huge. So I'm excited for Ohio to again support Amanda and this national brokers make a difference. I think it's going to be a big deal, especially when we have new, younger brokers coming on board, and we know it's challenging enough. But knowing they're coming in, going, I do make a difference.
Right. Absolutely. And we all make a difference. And I think to your point, yeah, we can sometimes feel like lost is, or with your microphone, is this thing on, am I really impacting people? The answer is yes, you are. So, but the speaking with one voice is how we're going to help share that message collectively and be louder. So, the surveys are great. I know we don't have one for group yet. That's coming down the road. It's just, again, to Amanda's point on a previous presentation, that's where the legislative action is kind of right now, is surrounding Medicare and individual. Those of us that have been members for a number of years will remember back to group as well when we went through with Cadillac tax and a whole bunch of other issues as well. So it just kind of follows what's going on with Ledge, but we love all of our folks and all of our different segments of the industry. So please, I know a lot of us hear feedback where they feel like brokers are feeling like, hey, what about us? What about what I'm doing? And we can still absolutely plug into that brokers making a difference tagline and brokers making a difference hashtag and encourage those folks to still share their experiences on social media and at meetings to let folks know how they're impacting. It's just, yeah, right now, because of where legislative is, that's the focus. So,
and not to throw politics, and I don't even know if you'd put this under politics, when you have United Healthcare and everything that they're doing with diminishing how much they're going to start paying, the commission for the brokers. That's a hard hit. When you have the largest insurance company in the country, in the world almost. I mean, I worked for it. I worked for UHC for 12 years. I thought it was, still believe in it. But when you have the big UHC coming in and it almost feels like they're devaluing what they're doing by taking away those commissions. I hate to say it that way, but that's, but I've talked to them, when you're a neighbor, we have these conversations, and I have a very good friend of mine is in that side of the business. And I said, hey, I'm going to come in this is not your friend, Michelle. This is a representative of NABIP. What the heck are you doing? What are you doing? And so, sorry, sidetracked, but
no, valuable conversations. And as much as we'd all like to volunteer all the time, that doesn't keep our lights on. So, we certainly do need to have money coming in. So yeah, for sure. And it's been impacting people in Medicare, in individual, and the group space. I think that those conversations will come if they see if successes are seen on the individual platform, the Medicare platform, then I think group would be next. So, we do have to stand in and remind people that brokers have a value in the conversation. The professionals, the licensed professionals have value in the conversation. And here's how we're participating and separating us from the call centers. I think supporting the bill it's a good step forward, right? There's still others that we need as well, but it's a good step forward for us. So moving on, Heather, John, our Region 3 Member Recognition and Awards Chair. Heather, are you still with us?
I am. I'm turning everything on. Oh, there I am.
There you are.
Hello. So, yeah, there's actually a lot going on with the award portion of it. I know people have been hearing me talk about how we're revamping the awards on the national scale, and it won't be for 2026's award year. It will be for 2027. So I see some award chairs on here. Everything's kind of been up in the air as far as, can we go ahead and start working on those awards and getting the documentation together? Yes. The award criteria will not change until 2027. So if you like to get a head start on things, I believe the templates are already out. So you can go ahead, get that stuff loaded on there, work through as you do, because that portion will not change until 2027. Also, we are looking at changing, how do I want to word that? So right now, everyone gets plaques. They either for individuals or for your chapter, what you're doing there. We're also looking at maybe better prizes, not just a plaque. Maybe it's covering part of your membership. Maybe it's a gift card. Maybe it's a amount off CapCon or convention. So we are looking for ideas like that. So if anyone has any suggestions for what they would want to see instead of getting the plaque, shoot those over to me. We do meet once a month, so they are looking for feedback. We are trying to revamp it entirely. Let's see what else is going on. it was well received, breaking up the awards throughout convention versus doing it all at once during the day. I've had, and even since then, I've had more and more people reaching out to me asking, how do I submit awards? How do I do this? How do I do that? And it's great. I will apologize if I haven't been reaching out as much as I usually do. I did take on a presidency role in a local chapter, so I'm stretched pretty thin and I'm trying to get it going. So if you do have questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We are also starting to work on the National DSA Award. I know some of you on here will be happy to hear this. The way it is now, the top 50% of folks who have the highest point count are awarded the award. So if 10 people submit for National DSA, 5 would receive it who scored the highest. So they're wanting my ideas on how to revamp it, which I will be reaching out to some of you to see what your thoughts are on that. I'm looking through my notes from our last meeting. Really, that's it. I know we are going to be holding some classes again, probably more so towards the first quarter, not the fourth quarter. We're going to be holding some more classes again on how to submit awards, what they're looking for, documentation, things like that. That's really all I have on that. I do have a question for everyone here since we have Region 3 here. And this can go towards the end or you can email me, whichever. On my local board, we are looking to revamp our annual sponsorships. And we are looking to see how other chapters are doing it because we've had some potential sponsors come to us saying, you know, St. Louis does it this way or Kentucky does it this way. So we're looking to get feedback on how other chapters are handling annual sponsorships because it seems like maybe we're not doing as much as other chapters. So as far as annual sponsorships, are memberships included? How do you let people come on mid-year? So if you guys have any feedback on how you're doing your annual sponsorships, I would love to hear it. That's all I have.
Yeah, I've heard like even in Illinois, suburban Chicago, they'll do an annual sponsorship. And that's for the whole year. And their cadence, you know, is well, once it's full and the time lapses, then that's it. But they have other things that they can sponsor, like an expo now. So I also encourage people think outside the box. One of the pieces of information that was asked of me when I was nominated for Region 3 RVP, people were asking me from national, like, what's your feedback? What's missing? What would you do to improve? And I said, you know, the fun factor is what I would improve. I said, sometimes, you know, sitting through all these meetings, we're volunteers and it's just not always so fun. So I was like, I'd love to see the fun factor come back in one way, shape, or form. So that's been the feedback that I've been sharing. So thank you, Heather. I will send out a link to the awards on nabip.org. If you guys don't have that, I'll send a link out in the wrap up. Do we have Brian Burrell with us? Mike Embry? Kathy Cooper? Mike Deagle? I promised you I'd push you to the end, Mike. Well, there you
You
go.
did take me to the
Yeah.
end. And I'm sorry, I'm on a brand new computer and I'm very dark and I haven't figured out how to lighten me up. So anyway, I'll make this short. For those who don't know me, it's great to see a lot of your faces that I haven't seen in a long time, but I have been around for a number of years within NABIP, NAHU NABIP, and been in Sarah's shoes before, so they're very difficult shoes. I'm wishing you very much luck in your endeavor here, but you'll do great. Anyway, I am your Region 3 LPRT chair. This is my third year as the Region 3 LPRT chair. We've had one meeting thus far, and I could not attend. My wife just had her second hip replacement, but we get notes from the meetings, and I know that stemming from last year and continuing our conversation from last year, we're really trying to bring up how to get more people involved with LPRT and how to. I just saw that state of Illinois did an LPRT piece that was really nice, but there's only 16 people on there out of the entire state. And so you could, qualify at the, the lowest level at a very small nominal fee. If you happen to attend a Capitol conference or convention, you get a discount on that registration fee. And you also get to go to the LPRT events. And at the convention, those are great events. A lot of people don't feel it costs money and I don't feel like I get my money back. Well, if that's the way you look at things, I've never looked at LPRT that way. I bought the award because I looked at it as something for my business, something that I'm proud of, and it is it's just kind of like if you think of a life insurance agent, it's like the MDRT, the $1 Million Roundtable. It's the leading producers roundtable. It doesn't take a whole lot of points and or dollars, what you make in revenue to qualify to be an RPRT qualifier. So, I started at the lowest level and I've moved up along with my career. I feel I get my money out of it. And just a little tidbit here, tomorrow, if you are an LPRT qualifier, you can attend the LPRT masterclass. You would have gotten an email from Brooke Wilson. Only LPRT qualifiers get to go to these exclusive masterclasses. They are every quarter. We had two great AI courses last year. The one tomorrow is The Power of the Pivot with Rob Roney from Michigan. He does a great job with, it's going to be volunteer plans working with Medicare aged people. So like vision insurance and dental and things like that. So I think it'll be a great event. And again, those come free of charge, but they are exclusive for just LPRT qualifiers. So they are not recorded, so you can't share them with anybody and they don't get to see them. So I highly I'm going to be on the call tomorrow on the presentation myself tomorrow. So our goal is going to
That's been a bummer for me, Mike, in the past. That's been a bummer for me where I've had to miss and I'm like, shoot, I can't watch the
It's
replay.
hard. I know. We made a decision not to tape it because we just felt there was no way to hide it to where people
Right.
couldn't get to it.
Right.
And we don't want it to be free for everybody.
Right.
We want people to feel value in it. There's been some I've missed too, but again, we are just looking at ways to bring up. I'm not quite sure what else we can add for value. I think it provides a lot of value. It really just is based on the LPRT qualifications, based on how you view it, and maybe it is more education, people understanding, but it's pretty simplified if you know anything about the MDRT. It's kind of a similar type of award, and I have a golden eagle. I have two golden eagles that sit on my platform over here, and I'm very proud of them. Yep. And it's just really cool to have that. And I get a lot of people that come in there and say, "What is that?" And I tell them what it is. Well, I'm proud of what I do, and I'm proud of my accomplishments. So that's really what it is. So I will. We were supposed to have a new committee chair, but she just had a baby. So last year's committee chair, Jim Morrison, is continuing on this year, of which we are even thinking of moving that position, the committee chair, to a 2-year position, because it's just so hard to get new things going when it's only a 1-year position. So anyway, that's a lot of information in a very short period of time, but thank you for those that are LPRT qualifiers. And if any of you need to reach out to me, you may do so with my information, mdeagle, DEAGLE, at benaccessinc.com.
And I will send that in the follow-up as well.
Yep.
So they'll have your info. And also, I just have something to tag in there. When I earned this award, my golden eagle, which I'm dropping now,
Pretty cool.
I earned this as a carrier rep back in the day. So
Yeah.
I think a lot of people don't realize that there's a carrier rep division that you can apply for. Because when you're a carrier rep, you're supporting and helping the brokers be successful in your region. So
Yeah, so
there
there's
is
a broker
there
side
is
and there's a carrier.
another, facet to this. Yes, the broker, awards are wonderful, and the LPRT program is wonderful. I was always surprised that other carrier reps didn't realize that we could earn it. And yes, you can, and yes, there are different criteria, but I can tell you, I put this on my annual report every year back in the day to show, hey, I am meeting the national platform of excellence for a carrier rep. And that went a long way in my performance reviews every year. So if you have people that are, just kind of like LPRT really isn't designed for me, I'm a carrier rep, I do this or that, you can say, now, wait a minute, there's a carrier rep category and you should check it out, see if you qualify for it. So I've now, of course, switched over to the broker lane for achieving LPRT, but I want to make sure everybody knows that because, again, it did help me quite a bit for years and years when I was a carrier rep with my annual reviews and showing that I had achieved or even blew away that national threshold. So thank you, Mike, and everyone for all that you're doing. I will stay on for anyone that has any questions. I know a lot of you have next appointments, but we will be continuing to meet the first Wednesday of every month, 8 a.m. Central Time, 9 a.m. Eastern. So bring your questions, bring your successes, and I'm happy to talk through those with you. You can also schedule one-on-one meetings with me or any of our Region 3 chairs. So again, I'll include everyone's contact info and follow-up. And invite everyone that you talk to on your boards that may be interested to join us. Again, we're not talking state secrets here. Oftentimes, our local chapter folks will at some point may be interested in moving up to state or even regional. So I have the open door policy. NABIP leaders, come one, come all, and we can chat and get to know each other and make the process a little bit easier.